Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maria Carpenter, the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations here at Bridgewater College, and I want to thank you all for joining us for today's virtual event, Catching Up with Coach Enright. Thank you so much for joining us during your lunch break. This fall, in lieu of in-person events, we are continuing to develop virtual events and video series to connect you all to campus when you can't be here physically. We started a new YouTube channel called Bridgewater College Alumni Relations, and that is where you will be able to find the recording from today's event. This is a recorded event, so anyone speaking or showing video will be recorded. And you can also let other people know that they can watch on our Facebook page, Bridgewater College Office of Alumni Relations. Thank you all for joining us. And at this time, I would like to hand it over to our head men's basketball coach, Steve Enright.
How's everybody doing? Thank you, Maria. Very happy to have so many alums join us, so many fans and supporters. Should be a fun day. Get you caught up on what's going on day to day in our program. We have Coach Hatcher and Coach Michael, who are on my staff, that'll be on this panel for a little bit of Q&A for me, as well as a few players. And the featured guest is Coach Leatherman, who we're going to have some fun with Q&A with later on. So just wanted to get you started on just a general catching up on what's going on as basketball.
I apologize. It looks like we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, but if everyone can hang tight, Coach Enright will be back up in just a minute. Just a little trouble with the Wi-Fi. While we wait for Coach Enright to come back, I'm going to welcome assistant coaches Jarrett Hatcher and Clay Michael. If they want to join us just for a minute, we'll get back to the program in a minute, but so that way you can hear a little bit from them as assistant coaches while we wait. Just kidding. Just as I said that, Coach Enright joined us.
I had a Wi-Fi issue, it seems. So sorry about that to all of us, but I'll pick up where I left off. Our basketball days are Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Our strength and conditioning days so far are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we've been doing something with them 6 days a week. Our strength and conditioning staff has been fantastic, just across the board with Brandon Beach and Courtney Adams, getting them in the weight room and figuring out how to maximize what we're able to do. Obviously you have to keep distance with some things, and we can't necessarily go live yet. We can't guard each other, but we're competing in other ways. So, just to give you sort of some examples and some updates, and I know we've got a lot of high school coaches in the chat right now in the meeting. So please feel free to, hit me up on this stuff and you can take it from us. But we've been doing daily awards been charting every shot we take. So 3 awards we give out after every day, every practice are, the Duncan Robinson Award is the best percentage shooter of the day. PJ Tucker Award is the best teammate, best, most vocal guy, who's flying around and talking and competing. And the Michael Jordan Award is the most wins. So if your team wins the most drills or you win the most shooting drills, we're giving out that award. So Alec Topper, who you're going to hear from, is a freshman. He's won the Robinson Award a couple of times, and Chandler Murray, who's a 5th-year senior, has won it the other time. So those two have been the best shot makers we have so far. And the Jordan Award and the Tucker Award have been split. It's been a different guy pretty much every day. I know Jaleel Langston's gotten the Tucker Award a few times. He's been fantastic for us from a teammate standpoint, showing some real leadership as a sophomore, and you're going to hear from him and Chandler Murray as well once we start interviewing players. So from a basketball standpoint, I'm super excited about where we're at. It's just great to be on the floor with our guys. It's great to start working with them, and it's great to see them getting better every day. And, with all these new guys, blending new guys and returners, having them get to know each other over the course of this fall. So we're ready to compete and ready to go come games in January. As of right now, we are phasing up to the next level of our practice. So starting Monday, we're going to be able to go live and compete and have them guard each other and go 5-on-5 and get full court and get up and down. So I'm really excited to start putting in defensive concepts then, start further putting in our offensive concepts. We've been doing a lot 5-on-0. We've been doing a lot in terms of putting in, what different things look like and moving guys around and having them learn multiple positions. But now we're going to be able to see what they look like when it goes live, which is going to be great. So Monday we'll have about a third of our practice be, 5-on-5, getting up and down, competitive 3-on-3, competitive 1-on-1, as well as some live defensive shell drills, so we can start to put in the defensive side of the ball as well. I think offensively, I'm really happy with where we're at. We've got a lot of shot makers. We've got a lot of talented guys that can score. Like any coach, I got to figure out if we can stop anybody. So I'm interested to see what the defensive side of the ball looks like. And if it looks great, we'll be a team that can play on both sides. If it doesn't look that great, I'm going to have to try and have a score in the 90s, which would be fun to watch. But, we'd love to have guys be able to guard as well. So looking forward to seeing what that looks like on Monday. Just wanted to shift gears and give you guys a recruiting update as well. We try to send out as much information on recruiting as possible. And it's really important to me that our former players feel connected with our new players, both the guys that we recruited in our 2020 class that are here now and the guys that we're looking to bring in 21, keeping you updated on what's going on. So Maria, if you could cue the general recruiting update graphic and put that on the screen so our guests can see visually, that'd be great. But the college gave us the opportunity to get back out on the road about 2 months ago. And obviously things are different with what high schools are doing and what AAU is doing. It's different than it normally is, but just seeing a kid, even in an individual workout, seeing him in a small, skill setting, is valuable because I can see his demeanor. I can see his coachability. I can see his habits. And, in my opinion, as a recruiter, face-to-face contact is king. So the more face-to-face contact you get with a kid, the more likely it is you're going to be able to build a relationship that's going to land you a commitment. So you can see since we've been able to get back out on the road, I'm sure you've seen some of our graphics on Twitter. You can see the bubbles on the right-hand side of the map. Those are the places we've hit. You can see all over the state of Virginia. You can see we've gotten into West Virginia. You can see we've gotten into Kentucky, we've gotten into Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and the DMV. And this 2021 class is going to look very different for us than 2020 did. 2020 was a situation where I sort of knew that we were going to have to flip our roster a little bit. And many of you that I've talked to in depth knew that was my sentiment. We had a thin roster. We only had 12 guys and we had 4 seniors. So it was important that we had an influx of new guys to go with the guys that we were planning on building around from a returner standpoint. So 2020 was a huge class. 2021 should be smaller. We're targeting, 3 guys, give or take 1 or 2 in either direction. With only graduating 5th-year senior Chandler Murray, 2021 is going to look a little bit different for us. But we've had an official visit with a prospect from Nashville, Tennessee. We've had we have an official visit upcoming with a prospect from the greater Charlotte, North Carolina. We have another official visit upcoming with a prospect, a big guy down in Southwest Virginia that we're really excited about. So those are coming down the pike, and you can see we spent a lot of days on the road. We've hosted a lot of unofficial visits, and looking forward to moving into official visits so we can have more prospects spend time with our current guys, many of whom will be their teammates next year if they choose to commit. So Marie, you can take this down, and pull up the other recruiting graphic would be great. While Marie is doing that, I'll plug a couple returning guys. Chandler Murray's the old guy on campus now. He's a fifth-year senior. He's got a fifth year of eligibility, and we're really excited that he chose to do that with us here at Bridgewater. Had a great season, and was really good for us last year. Second team all league, and one of the top guards in the conference. Kellen Hodge is a guy who started off strong for us and gave us some good minutes as a sophomore. That will be a junior this year, and getting him healthy was a huge piece of our offseason, and excited about what he can bring. Fletcher Jackson's gotten a lot better. He'll be a sophomore. Jaleel Langston started several games for us as a freshman, and I think will be really strong as a sophomore, just to name a few. And to finalize that 2020 recruiting class, many of you know about Andy Pack, who's the first scholarship Division I transfer to come here. Coming out of Elon, played 2 years at Elon, first scholarship Division I transfer to come here since Coach Leatherman was the head coach here. So super excited about him being the spearheading that class. But beyond that, one thing that I look for as a coach is trying to recruit guys that come from winning pedigree, that come from high school programs that do things the right way, and guys that are well coached and have won and know how to win. So just looking across at highlighting some other guys in our 2020 class, Jalen Huntley and Alec Topper were teammates. Forest Hills High School, North Carolina, didn't lose a game last year until the state Final Four. Zach Hatter is a local guy who transferred him from Liberty after going to Liberty and deciding not to play. Coming back to us as at Bridgewater was great. Max Jarman, who was coached by a pair of alumni, Greg Maynard and Drew Maynard, Albemarle High School, has looked really good for us, strong. You can tell he comes from a winning program. Justin Wonder is another freshman that 20 wins as a senior last year at Century High School out of Maryland. So, we are looking for winners. We are looking for guys that have won before and, can bring the winning pedigree here to Bridgewater as we build our program. But moving on from recruiting and roster notes, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about our fundraising initiatives and our locker room. So if Maria, you could cue the locker room graphic, I would love to talk a little bit more about that. And you guys can see on the screen some of the things that we have to look forward to as far as moving into a new locker room space that will be done December 2020, and we'll move into it January 1, 2021. So I know this has been a point of contention for many of you. We've talked on the phone about not having adequate locker room facilities, not having adequate stuff, that is basketball centric in Nininger Hall. And that's one of the things that, I knew pretty quickly after getting named the head coach here, early last October that we were going to change, and we were going to provide the enhancements that our players need to be a first-class program. And the locker room is going to help, generally just morale and current players, but also with recruiting and also with alumni connections. So wanted to give you a graphic image as construction is underway. So you can see what the space is going to look like and some of the upgrades that are going to happen to the space. A new floor, new lights, new paint. We're going crimson and black scheme. So the lockers are going to be black. The walls are going to be crimson. The floor is going to be black. And I think it's going to look really sharp. You can see top right-hand corner of the graphic, we've got a meeting gathering space. We'll have a projector there. We'll be able to watch film there. Players will be able to gather there, which will be nice. Storage space, so there'll be the locker area on the left at the top of the mock-up, and we've got 20 wooden lockers that are being refinished and ready to go at the bottom right of the locker. So just operationally and aesthetically, it's going to be a much better space for us. Many of you had seen the space that we were in when I was hired, and it was plain, it was bland, and it was small, and there was nothing much that we could do to make it better. So I think moving into a new space was step one. We secured that, and now we're underway with renovating it. Painting is about 75% done. So I look forward to sharing pictures and information with you as we go through our monthly newsletters. And just one thing that was important to me beyond just current players and recruiting and having a nice locker room was just paying homage to our past and making sure it was a space that our alumni base felt connected to. So we will have an Eagles of Distinction wall, which will highlight, record holders, All-Americans, all conference players, all Odac guys, in terms of Rookie of the Year and Players of the Year and teams of distinction, some great teams, some 20-plus win teams, some NCAA tournament teams that have been here. We have no shortage of really positive history that we'd like to pay attention to. So that will be in the hallway as you walk in. You can see the door, the top left, the L-shaped hallway. The first wall that you would see on your right-hand side walking into the locker room is where we're going to put all that stuff. And as you round the corner, we're looking to put this is already done. They're constructing right now. We're looking to put a model court, just looks just like a wood court of Nininger Hall. It'll be wood. And that'll be on the side of the locker that says storage. As you turn the corner, it'll be about 5 feet long and about 3 feet tall. And we want to give every alumni that visits campus and comes and sees our space and meets our guys the opportunity to sign the board. So your signature is on the board. Pick your favorite spot to shoot from, whatever it may be, and sign that board. And I think that's something that'll be really exciting and good to look at. We'll have a jersey board across from that. It'll go through each jersey number, the history of the program. And whoever wore that jersey, whatever era, your name will be next to that jersey number, so you can find your name when you come and visit. We'll have a program timeline that wraps across the top above the lockers, and we'll commemorate Coach Leatherman, Coach Myers, and one thing that we've want to do is the locker sponsorship. So all of this is made possible by donations that you guys generously gave last year. We raised a lot of money. We raised some strong funds to be able to do things like this. And we're going to turn that into a really nice locker room space for our guys. But as far as the locker sponsorship goes, we'll have, the Blackwood locker. There'll be a nameplate of the person who sponsored it. And there'll be a banner graphic across the entire back of the locker from top to bottom that will say what you want to say on it. So if you decide to sponsor a locker and you want it to be pictures of you from your playing days or information about where you came from and what you did while you were here, we can do that. If you want to dedicate it to a teammate, we can do that. If you want to dedicate it to your team, we can do that. And right now we've got about 7 or 8 commitments to sponsor lockers, and I'm hoping we can get to all 20. And you'll have a say on what you want those lockers to say. And as far as the giving aspect of that, we just ask that you get to that 750 level at some point in the next calendar year and tell me verbally via email or text or phone call that you want to do it. I'll mark you down and we can figure out how to get you to that level of giving based on the timing that you're comfortable of. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me with interest or questions about that, because I think the locker area is going to look extremely sharp for our players. So really excited about that, really excited and thankful for you guys making it possible. And, looking forward to the future and enhancing what we got, trying to enhance something every single year to make this program something that we can all be proud of. Moving on from just general State of the Union stuff, Maria, I'm going to ask you to take this graphic down, split screen me with Marcus Anderson's computer, and we're going to do a couple of fun player interviews so you guys can see who we have coming in and get to know them.
We shot you out, bro.
Sorry, a second.
Oh, Mr. Topper.
So, Coach.
How you doing?
Doing good, sir.
Good. So for the participants in this alumni and supporter Zoom, this is Alec Topper that we're speaking to. He's a freshman. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Alec. Where are you from? What's your major? What position you play?
I'm Alec Topper. I'm from Monroe, North Carolina. I'm majoring in exercise science, and I play small forward.
I would say that's accurate. I think you can play probably 2 through 5 for us, which is why we like you so much. I'm a big fan of versatility, which is good. So my first question for you, you can, tell these guys that X number of years ago were in your shoes. What is the biggest difference for you between high school and college basketball?
I would say just the commitment to it. Like in high school, you would work out a lot on your own, and it would be much more. But here, it's every day you're doing something. And then if you want to do individual work on your own, it's twice a day, 3 times a day. So just the overall commitment to the sport on top of the academics getting harder. So it's just more of a commitment for sure.
Gotcha. Good answer. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly an uptick between high school and college, and I think you've done great with it so far. So I guess next question for you is describe your game for me. What do you think you're good at? What do you think you'd like to see yourself improve over the course of your freshman year?
I would say I'm very good at being able to figure out what my team needs from me. Like, I've played on a lot of different teams, lived a lot of different places, and whatever role a team needs me to fill, whatever they need me to do, I've been able to do that wherever I've lived, whether that's score, defend, pass. So, and I want to improve upon being more aggressive scoring the ball, because I have a tendency to sometimes kind of like overpass, which has been a weakness, but it's something that to be more aggressive.
Yeah, no, makes sense. And for the viewers here, so you can hear from me, Alex looked great so far. He's won a lot of shooting drills for us. He's gotten that Robinson Award, I think, 2 times or 3 times for you so far? Something like that. I'd have to look at the numbers, but you shot it really well. And Alex got a lot of positional versatility for us, about 6'5", and can do a lot of different things. Next question for you. Plug a teammate who isn't here. Who do you enjoy competing with, against, who you enjoy getting to know, all that?
Really enjoyed competing with my roommate, Jay.
Okay.
So,
good.
yeah, but it's like a love-hate relationship on the basketball court. And then someone who I really liked getting to know is Reese Gaskins.
Yeah.
Good shooter and a real good guy. So I got to work out with him quite a bit.
That's great. Yeah, and Jalen Huntley is another freshman for us guard. He was teammates with Alec in high school as well, so they know each other pretty well. And Reese Gaskins is another freshman for us, 6'4" shooter from Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. Finished up his high school career at Washington High School, North Carolina. Really promising three-point shooter going forward. So last question for you, and then we'll move on to the next guy. Where do you see yourself after college, and what are some of the things that interest you from a professional standpoint?
Right now, I'm majoring in exercise science. So I want to be a physical therapist is the end goal. So I see myself doing something like that where I can really enjoy my job and be able to day and look forward to going and help people. So that's the goal right now.
Good deal. Appreciate you, Alec. Hopefully alums and fans on this call got a chance to get to know Alec virtually here. But I'll see you at practice, 3:45. Oh, excuse me, you're at 5:15. See ya.
Sir.
All right, so we got another guy popping in here that we'll ask some questions to once Coach Anderson gets him squared away. I believe it'll be Jaleel Langston about to sit down in the chair. Unmute, please. There you go. What's up, Jaleel?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Well, for our guest here, Jaleel Langston, go ahead and introduce yourself, Jaleel. What year are you? Where are you from? What's your major?
I'm Jaleel Langston, a sophomore from Nez River High School down in Suffolk, Virginia. I'm a health exercise science major, and I'm a wing/forward for the team.
Thanks for being here, Jaleel. Appreciate you, man. Let me ask you at least a little different than I asked Alec. How do you feel about our team going into your sophomore year?
I'm definitely excited about it. I feel like this year we have a lot of guys that want to win, especially after last season not going that great for us. So I feel like this year can be a good round. Hope we make a deep run, make Salem this year.
Absolutely. Jaleel is a great competitor for us. Did a lot as a freshman for us. To be honest with you, I probably didn't give him enough credit last year. He did a ton for us, guarding big guys, guarding small guys, playing hard, offensive game developing, all that. So I guess next question, describe your game. What do you think you do well? What would you like to see yourself improve?
I feel like I do well. I'm well in defense. Growing up, playing basketball, that's what we learned was on defense. So that's what I put most of my passion into, playing great defense. I need to improve more offensively, keep my confidence up. If I miss one shot, to keep the mindset of the next shot's going in.
Absolutely. Makes sense. And Jaleel's offensive game rapidly improving. Super excited about what he's doing so far in practice. So plug a teammate who's not here. Who's impressed you so far? Who you enjoy competing with or against?
I love competing against Andy Pack. Because
Okay.
he's D1 guy, played against like the best collegiate competition so far of all of us. So, playing against him, getting to pick his brain some, that's gonna make me nothing better.
No doubt, no doubt. And you guys are in similar position groups, so you'll be going against each other a lot, be matched up with each other a lot in practice starting Monday once we go live, which would be great for you as well as great for him. So where do you see yourself after college? What are some of the things that interest you professionally?
My focus is athletic training. So if I get a job opportunity there, I might take it. But like after like this past season, going back home to watch high school games, like I really find it interesting being a high school basketball coach back home somewhere.
Nice. Good stuff. And we've got several high school coaches in our alumni base, so would love to connect you with those guys as we move forward. But appreciate you, Jaleel. When we trot Murray out there, he's the next guy, right? Is he in the room yet?
Yes, sir.
All right, bring him on. Ace, what's up?
What the deal is, Coach?
How you doing?
Okay, call it. Same stuff, different day.
There you go. There you go. So just ask you a couple questions, man. But before we do that, introduce yourself. Where are you from? What year are you? What position you play? All that good stuff.
Point guard, Ace Murray, from Charlotte, North Carolina. My major is exercise science.
We got 3 exercise science guys in a row. So Chandler's a 5th-year senior for us. He's the old guy now. It seems like just yesterday I was an assistant chasing you around Berry High School for the greater part of your senior year. So time flies, man. I'm happy you're here, though. And I'm happy to be back, coaching you from a different chair. But moving forward, how do you feel about our team going into your final season?
Oh, you know me. I'm confident. We got some young guys. We gonna make a name in the conference. So
I agree with that. So let me ask you this for the group. Describe your game. What do you think you do well? What do you like to see yourself improve on going into your final season?
to me, it's just a 4-quarter guy. So anything team need, any play the team need, major playmaker. When it comes to being clutch, that's what I do. If you need to stop, I'll do that. If you need a shot, I'll do that. Anything the team do that.
Gotcha. What do you think you got to get better at?
Obviously, being a better leader since I'm the old guy. Feel me? So
Yeah, you
always got to improve on that communication, basic point guard skills. But I'm really trying to get to the cup more this year.
Yeah, no doubt. For those of you who don't know, Chandler led the conference last year in 3-point field goals made. Can definitely get better at the rim, though, getting to the rim and creating as people run them off the line. So that's something we've been working on with him in practice and in workouts. So plug a teammate who isn't here. Who's impressed you so far? I think I know what you're going to say.
Oh, ain't nobody getting singled out. Everybody, I compete against everybody. Everybody compete against me. Ain't nobody.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that response. Where do you see yourself after college? What are some of the things that interest you professionally?
What I'm planning to do is go to grad school for occupational therapy, but me and my family got a nonprofit going on that I might do next year. I might help out with a business that my grandfather had. All I know is about 5 years I'm gonna be successful. That's all I know.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. We believe in you around here, so I appreciate you taking the time. And Maria, you can cut off Marcus's computer and you can split me with Clay Michael and Jarrett Hatcher. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing well, Coach.
Doing great. Hatch is excited because he gets to do this instead of teaching kids over Zoom today. So it's a good day for Coach Hatcher. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry, go ahead, Hatch.
The chat's already much better. There's a lot of banner and a lot of text messages. But you're going to have trouble with your floor because the Rush brothers and Ramsey will probably sign the whole thing all over the place.
I'm gonna have to monitor that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit from some of our players. You know, those are the three we decided to have on. We had to pick three guys that you know we're not in class at noon. So we've got a lot of guys in class at noon on Thursdays. So it was good to hear from two returners and a freshman. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We're going to move on and have a little back and forth with two of our assistants that are both alums. So Coach Hatcher is class of 93. Coach Michael is 06. Many of you guys know them personally, or many of you guys in this video call played with them or went to school with them here. So I'm super grateful to have them both on board. Like, they both help us tremendously across the board, not just with alumni relations, but with the basketball side of things and the recruiting side of things and the operational side of things. So just to, I guess, start this off, I'm going to ask this question of both of you, and Clay, you can answer first. What does Bridgewater basketball mean to you, and why do you choose to stay so heavily involved with our program in current day?
Thanks, Stephen. First off, again, thanks for organizing this, getting everybody together, and thanks for everybody to joining. That first part of the question, Bridgewater, for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, it's just where it all started. You know, you don't realize the sorts of things at the time when you're there, and try to tell kids that when they're young, hey, you're going to appreciate all this down the line, but you can't convince them. But, you know, it's not just your friends, but it's your education, and obviously your 4 years of hoops. That's what meant the most to me. You know, a great experience, and offered me the opportunity to extend my career overseas, something that was really unique, and it really changed who I was as a person, kind of opened my eyes in a lot of different ways. And so I'm grateful for all that. And you know why I stay involved? Like, I get that question a lot. The short version is it keeps me young. You know, being around these guys, like you just saw those three guys, like three very different guys. And they just keep you on your toes. And it's just hard to explain if you're not around them all the time. You know, I care about the success of the program, the young guys who choose to trust us and come here for their college experience. You know, it says a lot about what we're doing. I enjoy the fact that I can play a role in their development. You know, I tell people all the time, my day job pays the bills, but there's way more meaning in this. One of my 9th years volunteer, 3 Shenandoah, and this is year 6 at Bridgewater. You know, and to be honest, Coach, I was close to hanging up the whistle prior to you coming back. So, you know, thrilled to have you here. You know, I feel like there's some new life injected into the program, and I've heard that from a lot of people. So we appreciate you and what you're doing. You know, it's something that I'm proud of again, and I'm confident we're going to continue to build this thing and go in the right direction. Hopefully we can win a lot of games and have a lot of success. And as you know, Coach, I've got to end the streak.
You got to end the streak.
For those of you who don't know, I am dating to 8th grade, coaching and playing 0-17 in playoff basketball games. So this is the year it ends. So if it doesn't, I'm going to stick around at least until that streak is over. They say builds characters, so that must be why I'm just so likable.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, Clay. One, I'm extremely grateful that you didn't hang up the whistle, and I'm glad this worked out. And I know you and I talked a ton during the process, and I guess the percentage of me leaving VMI and getting the job here gradually grew each conversation we had in that like 4-day stretch when everything was going on, because it happened super fast. So thank you for not hanging up the whistle. You give a ton to our program, and I am as committed to anything in my life as ending your streak. One, because I want to win here and we're going to win here, but two, because you deserve to have something in the win column, that playoff streak here. So we're going to do it, and we're going to do it sooner rather than later. I'm super excited about our group and our coaching staff. So Coach Hatch, same question for you. What does Bridgewater basketball mean to you, and why do you choose to stay so heavily involved in our current program?
Well, a little bit like what Clay said, it's where it started for me, but it's where it started as a coach. Coach Leatherman gave me my first opportunity to coach, and it's led to my career for 26, 27 years as a high school coach. It led to me being a teacher. And it was that first basketball meeting in study hall to organize. That's where I got the opportunity from coach to get involved. And I think about my friends, the guys I talk to every day, text with, call. Some of them are on here, some of them couldn't be, but it's my teammates. And thank you for letting me get back to campus, because I've been able to connect with so many of my teammates in the last month or so. It's been fun to organize this and to talk to guys and remember stories and things you've forgotten. And for me being involved when I was a high school coach, it was a lot, because Bridgewater, my dad played at Bridgewater, my parents, my family. I grew up being a Bridgewater basketball fan as a little kid. And one of my favorite memories of all time, I went with my dad to the Basketball Hall of Fame and with my brother, and in walked Coach Myers and Coach Steven and Matt and his brother. And it was a pretty cool day. So Bridgewater means everything to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So follow-up question for you. First of all, welcome back to coaching. I mean, this is awesome. Just that you're back in, you got a whistle and you got your shoes and you're on the court, man. You're back in doing what you love. So welcome back to coaching. I'm thrilled that it's here. What's been the biggest difference for you between the high school and the college game? Kind of like the coaching version of the question I asked Alec Topper, I guess.
For me is the layers and the depth. I mean, as coaches, we watch film, but we don't have to deal with the recruiting. We're constantly watching recruiting film, highlights. Everything is just on steroids compared to what you do as a high school coach. And this component, the alumni component, and the mentorship of kids. I'm checking on high school kids' grades, but you're not necessarily helping them plan for their career, and you're not helping them get a job, and you're trying to get them to college to the next level. So I think there's so much more depth to it. And the basketball part is been fascinating, because everybody on the team was the best kid in their high school probably. And so how quickly everything is moving, and just trying to figure out all the components. I would say it's definitely, there's so many more layers that I wasn't expecting. I've been working for you for 7 months, and we've been in the gym 4 times.
Right.
And it's been 24 hours a day, literally, for 7 months.
Yeah. And I guess I'll apologize publicly to you for my very, very, very early morning text messages, as well as very, very, very late at night text messages. I have a tendency to do that, so I apologize.
Oh, I like it. I know when you're awake.
That's good. That's good. So last question for both you guys, and Hatch, you can answer first. Seeing our operation up close and personal, why is alumni support so important to what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish here? Hatch, you hear me or no?
Yes. I was getting chastised in the group chat.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interfere with that.
No, thanks a lot, John Curry. Before I do that, Dan Rush said that he wants to get a locker. So
Okay.
Dan, he wants, and I'm going to get a locker too. So
Nice.
I think the alumni thing, with meals, with the little extras, with letting us be a first-class operation. And the donations from the Day of Giving last year really got us to jumpstart on this locker room. And we're going to have a first-class space to go along with the team that you built and we're building on. And so I think the alumni support, it also gives value to the kids that are playing today. They realize that, hey, there's something important about what I'm doing, and look at these successful guys down the road, and I want to be that. So I think the alumni support, both mental, emotional, financial support is very, very important.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I think, and I'll let Clay answer in a second. Just wanted to say too, like we have an adequate budget here for our level. There's a lot of things that are provided to us from the school that, give us the opportunity to run our program. But where the alumni side comes into play is enhancing things like the locker room. Okay, you're given a locker room by the school, but how can we make it a really nice space? Well, that's going to come from donated dollars and outside support like anywhere else. If you go to VCU or you go to Richmond, like stuff like that is funded by alumni support there, just like it will be here. So yeah, we have an adequate budget, but our alumni base and our donor base could absolutely be a huge part in taking this thing to the next level. So I guess Coach Michael, same question for you, seeing our operation up close and personal. Why is that alumni support so important?
Yeah, I mean, I would echo everything Hatch said, but it's massive because it adds to what we already have, right? Every dollar adds to that experience. And we all remember what it was like to be here. Most people on this call went to Bridgewater and played here.
Yeah.
Not only just the meals at the Golden Corral, but the trips we took and all the memories that you have from that. Whether you keep in touch with people or not, it just enhances the experience in a way that it would be hard to do without that support. And the support that we've received has been tremendous since your hire, Steve, and we hope that continues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without that support, all that is just less possible. It's you gotta try a little harder to make it work, but it just makes things easier and makes the experience better for everybody involved. It gives us that ability to have the family feel, and it makes the experience way less transitory, in my opinion, and more permanent. It just connects you and everybody else with the program as a whole. I think it's essential to accomplishing our goals and making this something we can all be proud of.
Absolutely. And it's one thing to be a team, but most important to me as we're building this thing is we want to be a program. And in order to be a program, you've got to have tremendous alumni support, tremendous alumni involvement. So, as I've told many on the phone or via email or however we communicate directly, I'm an open book as far as alumni relations and alumni outreach goes. So, please feel free to contact me with any ideas of how we can have more people connected to what we're doing currently here in 2020. So that's enough of that. Let's get the featured guest on the horn here, Bill Leatherman. Maria, if you want to split the screen so we can see Coach Leatherman, would love to have him up here whenever we can do that. Coach,
am I there?
How you doing?
I'm good. Do you have me good?
Yep, I got you. I can hear you. I can see you. You're on here with myself and two of your former guys, Coach Hatch and Coach Michael. You should be able to see both those guys. But
I got them. Yep.
just introducing you to the group because there are some younger guys in here that didn't play for you. This is Coach Bill Leatherman, 23 years as the head coach here at Bridgewater, by far the most successful head basketball coach in the history of Bridgewater College, and has been a great sounding board for me since I've been, here as the head coach. And I know that many of you are very connected to Coach still to this day, years after you graduated and years after your playing career finished. And you might not be able to see the participants, but we've got a ton of guys on this call that played for you, which just speaks to the impact you had that, when you were the head coach here and beyond. And we've got two guys on my staff that played for you, coached for you. So, thank you for being here and thank you for taking the time out of your day. So I guess my first question for you is, how's the book? Tell us about the book.
Is at the final stage. It is with the publisher now. It will be called Airballs,
Right.
with a subtitle that says Tall Tales from a Basketball Journey, which it is into my 23-year journey, but the good juicy stories came from the players.
Okay.
A lot of them. I've let a couple people here look at the transcript, and they say this is sure to be a Shenandoah Valley bestseller, although it's going to rub some people a little. But hey, what can they do to an 80-year-old man? They can't lock him up.
You can't lock them up.
It's good. some great stories in there, some great stories.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it myself. Fortunately for me, I was, a toddler or in elementary school or in middle school when a lot of this stuff was going on. So if you do upset some people, they can't come after me because I was somewhere in Rhode Island, at like 12 years old. So, so have at it. And I can't wait to read it myself. So next question for you, and Maria, you can cue the graphic up of the all Bill Leatherman teams for me. Our media people opened up voting. We had over 850 people vote on this poll, which was awesome, and named the first and second all Bill Leatherman era team. And you'll see this on the screen in a second. What are your thoughts on some of these guys, and can you describe some of them as players? Because I would love to know.
Well, first of all, looking at the first team, Yates, Rush, Williford, Rush, Easterling, Watson. Who in the heck on that team is going to pass the ball? Won't be anybody passing. We've got a couple of guys on the second team, DeBerry, Curry, Jeff Berry, Harrington, Scott Powers, and Shane. Shane would pass it. Tom would pass it. Not a whole lot of passers on that team.
So it sounds like if you blend the first and second team together, you'd have a pretty good group because at least you have some guys that might be able to spray the ball a little bit.
I've been asked many times, of course, I've been retired now 12 years, but even during who's the best players, who was the best, if you had to pick an all-star, and I would never do that because I don't think you can do that. I remember one incredible statistic that stands out to me is that Chris Ely was our point guard.
Yeah.
And now we played a much more down tempo than you guys are playing nowadays.
Sure.
But Chris played he was point guard, played 3 consecutive games without a turnover.
Wow.
Which is amazingly incredible. So you can go on and on with names of different guys. But one thing I do want to point out here, Steve, and we recruited every player that I recruited. I said, and it's never more evident than it is here today. You guys, your best friends in life won't be your high school teammates. They will be your college teammates. They'll be in your wedding. They'll go to your funeral. They'll do whatever. But I think that stands to be true, and it's really evident here today that how these guys have stayed together and stayed friends.
Absolutely true. And the way you talk about Chris Ely, I might have to call Chris Ely and ask him if he has any eligibility left because we threw the ball over the gym last year. So I could look forward to having some guys that maybe might take care of it a little bit more. But
it's different now. The games are more rush, and I don't think that could happen in this day and time. But that was a pretty incredible statistic.
It sounds like it. So Maria, you can take this graphic down. I think everybody's got the names, and next question for you, and it'll be the last one from me. What did alumni support mean for you while you were coaching, and what do you think the best ways are to keep former players involved in our current program here at Bridgewater?
It means everything. Now, we were restricted a little bit more in the early years, and we're not permitted to do that. So I'm just elated that you can get into
Right.
support. I would get my hand slapped at times when I would try to go out and get alumni financial support and whatever. But you got it going great, and I'm just really impressed. I'm so impressed with the enhancement in the locker room. I think that's a big deal. And like you said, you're going to have a locker room, but it's not going to be a great locker room unless you get support from your alumni guys.
Sure. Absolutely. I appreciate you saying that. So now I'm going to turn it over to your former guys. Coach Hatch and Coach Michael are going to ask you a question each, and then we're going to open it up to the participants for a Q&A. So which one of you guys wants to go first, Coach Hatch or Coach Michael?
I'll go ahead because I'm unmuted. Hatch is on mute, so he needs to figure it out. Come on, Hatch. It's been a while. We're using Zoom.
I'm terrible.
You're doing too many different things. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So I've asked this question, or I've kind of made assumptions just to make us sound better, Coach. But if the 04-05 team, so Ricky, Nick, Fitz, Ashby, their senior year, if we had Harry Moore and or healthy CW Durrett the entire season, or if Ashby had hit that open 3 against Lynchburg, do you think we would have won the Odac?
I think we'd have had an excellent chance. I alluded to a chapter in my book. By the way, the book is 23 chapters, one of each years that I was there. And the stories grow as you get closer to the end, a little wilder. But there's been some great guards in the Odac, but I do not think there's ever been a better duo than Harry Moore and C.W. Durrett at one time. And unfortunately, we lost them both in 1 year. So I do indeed think that would have been a little bit different.
Question, Coach. Go ahead, Hatch.
I'm muted now, Clay. All right, Coach, Ashley Watson says he wants to buy a book and he wants it signed. And Ramsey Yates said that he passed once in the 6th grade.
I wouldn't believe that.
So I don't know how long ago that was. But now Clay's question was really good. Mine is going to really challenge you, all right? All the players, all the teams, all your 23 great years. Do you have any Bridgewater pictures up of any guys that played for you or anything? And if you do, who is it? Who's on your wall of honor?
That's a rigged question. I retired on July 31st, 2008. And there was an article in the Harrisonburg paper about it and one in the Stanton paper about it. And then someone sent me the article from the Stanton paper and had it embossed. It hangs behind me here on the wall. I don't think you can see it. It was a picture of me and Jarrett Hatcher talking. So he's the only one in my wall.
Oh, Coach, I'm honored, and thank you for giving me my start. Thanks for believing in me, and I say this for all of the guys that played for you. I mean, you were such an important part of our lives, and still are. And you haven't aged.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Well, appreciate Coach Leatherman taking our questions and taking Coach Michael and Coach Hatcher's questions as well as mine. So I guess, Maria, we can open it up to a Q&A. I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to read questions as people send them in and Coach Leatherman can answer them, or what's the best way to do that?
Yes, so if everyone looks at the bottom of their screen, they'll see the Q&A feature. It looks like 2 little chat bubbles as if it's a text message. So everyone can go ahead and submit questions through there. And then I will be the moderator and ask them to each of the panelists as it pertains per question. So yeah, if any of you are watching and have questions, go ahead and fill it out there. And as we wait, Steve, you can kind of talk for a minute or so while we get some questions in, and I'll let you know when we're ready.
Sure. So yeah, and so Maria, you can submit the questions to Maria. You can ask either whether it's Coach Leatherman, Coach Hatcher, Coach Michael, or myself. Feel free to ask questions to any of us. And before we get to the Q&A, I've enjoyed this greatly. Just obviously seeing Coach Leatherman and hearing him talk. I can't wait to read the book and learn about what came before me. So very excited about that and definitely thankful for him being on the chat. But I think I see one in the Q&A. So I'll hand it back over to Maria whenever she's ready, and she can start firing them off. And whoever, I guess you can just address, hey, this question is addressed to Coach Leatherman or Hatch or whoever, and we'll just answer for you.
Yep, absolutely. So the first one is for Coach Leatherman. Someone wants to know how they can purchase airballs.
Airballs will be out in, they're going to send me one copy, and it may be a week or 2 or 3 before I get it. And then when I send it back, it's good to go. It'll be on Amazon. It'll be in Barnes and Noble. I will have 100 copies that I have to purchase via the contract. The book will sell for $20. And if you want me to sign it and send one to you, it would be $25 because it'd be, the envelope and the cost and the postage and whatever. but it should be out within the next 4 to 6 weeks, and it will be a $20 book.
Thank you, Coach Leatherman. The next question is also for you. So you're the popular guy of the hour. One person said they would really like to know what fellow Odac coaches you respected the most.
Oh, wow. I was dear friends with Paige Moyer, probably the closest with Paige Moyer. Tom Baker across town, and Kirby and Mark Fleming at Eastern Mennonite. Of course, things were different, and we would trade films a lot with the Eastern Mennonite gang. Drive over and traded films. I was good friends with Tony Shaver, pretty much all of them. Bob Johnson. We went at each other cat and dog style, but very good friends, and played two opposite styles of basketball, and each of us respected the other one very much. So Hal Nunley was one of the best coaches at Randolph-Macon that I've ever encountered. Mike Rhodes was there, all of them. I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you. The next question is actually for Coach Enright and Coach Michael. In your collective time at Bridgewater as coaches, who has been your favorite coworker? I'm sure the answer is Jarrett, but if there was another answer too.
That's a great question. Coach, you want to go first? You want me to go?
Do I have to pick guys from the staff at Bridgewater or my day job?
You can pick whatever you want. I would hope that.
No, I would say, I've enjoyed every single person that's come through there. I know it's a diplomatic answer. But guys like the early guys, Brad Reister and Pat Ackerman,
yeah,
those guys are all-time classics. And also Tevin Baskin, all those guys have gone on to be successful. And, we still tell stories about those guys just about every time we're together. So, it's tremendous just getting to meet all these different folks. Love to hear.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And mine's going to be similar, because that's what I was going to say. Obviously, like Coach Michael and I are pretty good friends. We touch base pretty much every day, and obviously we work together, but we're good friends. But, so when I was an assistant, it's a little bit different when you're an assistant. So I was an assistant here for 3 years, and I had 3 different cohorts with me back there, like Marcus and Noe are for me today. When I was Marcus, Brad Reister was the other assistant with me year 1, and he and I are still really good friends. He got out of basketball. He's in the asphalt business in Richmond now, but he's an awesome human being. And then Pat Ackerman and I are extremely close friends still. We're both New England guys. I was involved in him being hired here, and he's on staff at the University of Arkansas right now with Coach Musselman. And Pat might even be on this call right now because he's been texting me, which is great. And then Tevin Baskin was my 3rd year as an assistant here, was the other guy with me. And Tevin moved on from here and went to Mississippi State around the same time that I went to VMI. I was a GA there for 2 years, and now is the lead assistant at St. Michael's Division II in Vermont. And Tevin's another New England guy, and we're all super close. So, one of those things when you work in college basketball, there's very much a brotherhood to that, in the sense that the guys you coach with and the guys that you are assistants with, you might not agree with each other all the time, but you become really close on most staffs. And some of my best friends are guys that I've coached with at different stops. So definitely those 3 guys that we were back there in the cubicles together. So good stuff. Great question, whoever asked that.
Thank you both. Following up, one person said, I hear and read all of the time that the game has changed, but I don't personally see that. And if anything, I think the fundamentals and the style of play you taught us is the Achilles heel of the new style. What do you think, Coach? So I guess that's open to it says coach, so whichever coach.
That applies to all. I'll let Coach Leatherman go first.
Repeat that question again, please, because I was muted. Yeah.
Looks like I was muted there too. Yes, sir. So it says, I hear and read all of the time that the game has changed, but I don't personally see that. And if anything, I think the fundamentals and the style of play you taught us is the Achilles heel of the new style. What do you think, Coach?
First of all, now we've got a more active shot clock and everything, but I do indeed think there have been some, gosh, I shouldn't say this, but I will. There have been some AAU coaches that have just rolled it all out and said, let's go play. And then it gets structured into the college game, and it becomes much more difficult for the college coaches to break those players' habits. The game is definitely a better game now because of the skill of the athletes, but because of some of the lackluster stuff that has gone on in AAU, and not all of it, but I've seen some instances and known some of my own players that, said, we don't never do fundamentals. And I think it makes it tough today on the college coach.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So I think Coach alluded to the shot clock now being 30 seconds, and then the rules of what's a foul versus what's not a foul. I don't think the game is necessarily more or less physical. It's a physical game, but I think the freedom of movement on the perimeter changes things. So it makes sense for you to be a little bit more open floor and perimeter based now because of the 3-point shot and the shot clock and the freedom of movement rules, which change things. But the fundamental aspect is a great point. And Coach Leatherman mentioned, just I would call it youth basketball in general, and that can be youth basketball, AAU basketball, and high school basketball as you come up before college. And there are some awesome coaches at all of those levels, and the players that play for those coaches almost have a leg up over the ones that don't, so that goes back to our recruiting philosophy. Coach Michael and I talk about this all the time. It's almost like you have to recruit guys that come from high school programs and AAU backgrounds with good coaches that know how to play, so you don't have to completely break everything down and start again once they get to college. So, but great question. And it does make sense because there is some aspect of, college coaches have a little bit more to do when they get here to fix some bad habits than maybe they did, 10 or 20 years ago, if that makes sense. I think Coach Leatherman would agree with that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
great question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting there. Thank you both for answering that one. The next question is, Coach Enright, who is your favorite NBA coach?
My favorite NBA coach is Eric Spoelstra, and has been since before this, because Eric Spoelstra is a guy that I identify with a lot, because the whole starting out as a video coordinator thing and building his way up to being an NBA head coach and being in the NBA finals and winning a championship with LeBron and all that. I come from a pretty working class background. I wasn't a great player. I played 1 year of Division III hoops, and I didn't come from a basketball family, so you when you come from a background like that in coaching, you really have to start out the grind. And I started out AAU in high school, and I volunteered my first Division III job, and then, small stipend Division III, Division II jobs, then, kind of sixth guy on the totem pole at University of Rhode Island, Atlantic 10 Division I. So I've enjoyed his climb. And then Brad Stevens is another guy, same thing. He's a Division III guy all the way, and worked his way up from an unpaid guy at Butler all the way to what he's become today. So I try to look at guys like that, those two guys. Tom Thibodeau is another guy who's the head coach at Salem State in Massachusetts, in the 80s. So was a Division III guy. So current NBA, it's Eric Spoelstra, but I like guys from that mold. And I didn't think that they were going to beat the Lakers, but the fact they won 2 games with the disparity in talent, and the injury problems that they had just shows you how good that Spoelstra is. In my opinion, he's currently the best coach in the NBA.
Thank you, Steve. And just for all of our participants to know, looks like we have 6 or 7 more questions. So that'll be after we answer all those, the conclusion of question and answer, just so we can make sure to get through everyone's. So next question is for Coach Leatherman and Coach Hatcher. What coach did you like to hand a loss to during the 80s and 90s?
Wow. That's a tough question. You always wanted to beat the better teams, and during our area, Macon and Hampton Sydney were the better teams, along with Roanoke a little bit. no favorite. Just because I always felt for the other guy a little bit because I know how much work goes into it. But it was always good. We had a unique situation with with Hampton Sydney. They won a lot at Bridgewater. We won a lot at Hampton Sydney. It was kind of ironic.
Not the same thing, Coach. I didn't like Emory and Henry that much. One of my coworkers played at Emory. And the first day he got hired as assistant principal, I said, I've known and not liked you for a long time. I didn't like EMU, but I was 18 and 19 and stupid. I always liked beating those people at Sydney. They were the worst fans.
I can't say that.
Depending on how you looked at it, I like them getting on us. I've got a couple great Hampton Sydney stories in the book. You guys will enjoy.
Good stuff.
Thank you both. The next question is for Coach Leatherman. Love to hear your opinion on the style of basketball played today and if you think our style can be successful today. So it's a little similar to the earlier question, but I guess the focus is saying if your style can be successful in today's basketball.
I really don't think you can compare because of the changing of the shot. It has moved us. Now we could shoot. I think we were in the national rankings in shooting in like 12 or 14 of my 23 years. We were ranked in the top shooters and actually led the nation in shooting a couple. But that's because we were working and being a lot more patient with the ball. I don't think the clock allows you to do that now. It's just different. It's a different game. It's a different game.
Absolutely. This next question is for Coach Enright. So one user said, I missed the opening part of this webinar during the recruiting portion. So if you answer this, please disregard. Having been both an assistant and now head coach of the Eagles, has your approach to recruiting changed any with your change in roles? And if so, how?
That's a great question. And yes, it has. Not overwhelmingly. I think the longer you spend at a place, the more you learn what will and won't work at that particular place. Because it's just using the 2 Division I stops I had as an example, like VMI versus University of Rhode Island, you were recruiting a completely different character. Like a completely different human being, like at those 2 places, so, and Coach Leatherman knows that and his years as an assistant and all that, so I think over time, yes and no. I think initially when I got here as an assistant and many of like I was a recruiting coordinator, I was responsible for the vast majority of the guys that we brought here as an assistant. And that's always been something I enjoyed as the recruiting piece. And we were so down in 2014-15 and 2015-16 because we had graduated a lot of seniors off the 14-15 team that we needed to almost flip the entire thing. So early on, it was like, let's get as much talent as we possibly can. And I think we got some. But my opinion sort of evolved over time and we rate guys in our office, and the assistants know this, is we have several different categories as we're evaluating guys. It's talent, it's academic fit, it's gettability, and it's fit for me, in terms of what I would like to coach as the head coach. And we rank all those guys and we come up with a metric that says, okay, like these 20 guys on our board scored the best on this metric, like that's who we're going to target. I think, more fine-tuned approach now as a head coach. And I think our players are, good and talented, but I'm hoping that because of the work we did on the front end, that our retention and development will improve as well, which, the most important thing to college basketball and being successful is recruiting. And the next important things, 2A and 2B, are retention and development, because they go hand in hand. I think we've done well with the first part. Now the second part, the retention and development piece, needs an uptick, and I think that'll come. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you very much, Coach. Next question is for Coach Leatherman. Who was your favorite Odac official? We all know who Curry's was.
I didn't have one. I'm just kidding. There were some outstanding guys that have gone on to be outstanding referees, officials, as you call them. A lot of them we would mess with. They would mess with me. I would mess with them and try to keep our players out of it. It was hard to keep John Curry out of it because he got his nose into a lot of stuff. But I couldn't say. I couldn't say there were some very good referees. I know we always talk about, and I know Coach Enright has dealt with this already, and I alluded to it in the book on several occasions. When you get to Saturday afternoon in the Odac, you're getting nothing but the leftover referees because the other guys, the big schools, everybody plays on Saturday during a normal season. All the guys, they'd rather go for $1,000 or $3,000 than $300.
Yeah, no question about that. Guys get paid. Guys are going to get paid significantly more doing a Big South game than they are doing an Odac game, even though the quality of officials is probably the same. So what are you going to do is you're going to take the Big South game every time.
Did have one funny incident, and I have it framed here on my wall. I wanted to put it in the book, but the picture was not of quality. At Roanoke one night with Bill Booker, who was a good friend of mine, they made a call. I saw they told me the guy didn't step on the line late in the game. He did step on the line. What the hell are you doing? Don't tell me he didn't. But anyway, I took the water bottle and stood on the court, and held it in front of me like I was peeing on the floor, and sprayed the water all over the floor. And then the fans are going crazy. And Booker comes up and he says, "Coach," I said, "what do you need?" I said, "There's water on the floor. Y'all need to get it up." He said, "Well, they're telling me you threw it on there." I said, "You guys haven't seen anything all night. How could you see that?" And then I could tell, because he was a good friend of mine. I could tell he was getting irritated. So I kind of shut up and he went away. But the next day, the Roanoke newspaper, I forgot what it's called, the Roanoke student newspaper had a caricature drawing of me holding my water bottle on the floor. I wanted to put that in the book. The picture was not of enough quality to do it.
Thank you for sharing, Coach. The next one is for Coach Enright. We seem to have a very close-knit team with a lot of depth, talent, and experience. Great job. How do you see our team stacking up this year, especially with the changes to season due to COVID?
Great question. Yeah, honestly, I think that it's for me, it's going to be about blending and managing, roles and expectations. I think we have enough talent to beat anybody, and I told the players this, your talent defines your floor. So our floor is significantly higher than it was last year because we have much better players, but they're going to define our ceiling, and that's their buy-in, their effort, their work rate, their togetherness, and how do they get to know each other, on the weird calendar, the weird schedule, and playing all our games late. It's going to be different for everybody, but I think we're in a great position to have a significant uptick in success, quicker than I thought. Obviously you have Andy Pack, who's a mid-major player and wasn't just a Division I transfer. He's a Division I transfer who played, 10 to 15 minutes a game for 2 years at that level. So he's legit when you put him in the Odac, but there's no other way to put it. But, I think if you take Andy out of it, I would say we've got really good freshmen. We've got other good transfers. I think we can be very successful, this year. But I think Andy, when you throw him in the mix with our other guys, it just might expedite that process. So I think there are some expectations to be good, from as I'm looking at our team, and Hatch and Clay can say the same thing, and my assistants can say the same thing because they've seen us in practice. That, if you had asked me, last year, okay, Coach, after 7 practices, whatever we've had, how many guys do you have that can compete and help you win an Odac game against a good team and be in the rotation in that game? I would have told you 4, maybe 5. If you asked me that same question right now, I'd say 12, maybe 13. So, we have better players now. And for me, it's going to be about managing, roles and managing expectations and just trying to get guys better every day. And I think that if we do the right things and we get lucky and we stay healthy, I think we could be pretty good. So I'm very excited.
Thank you, Coach Enright. I have one slightly humorous, little off-topic question for Coach Hatcher. One person asked, do you shave your head or is that all natural?
Mute.
Got it. Yes, John Curry. I shaved my head. I did it this morning. It's perfectly round. I had more hair when I met you when I was in the 5th grade.
Thank you. And final question from users, and then I'm just going to share one question with you all. So this one is, Coach Enright, how do you sum up BC's value proposition for a recruit? What does BC offer them that other D3 programs don't?
One, I think we've got a young, energetic coaching staff, and we have the largest and deepest coaching staff in the league. 2, I think it's a great degree and a great location. And 3, I think it's an opportunity to build something. You know, you go to Randolph-Macon or whatever, they've been winning for 20 years, you know, and you guys know this. We won a ton in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. If you're a guy that comes here as a recruit and you're, you know, the guy that cuts down a net your sophomore, junior year and takes us back to winning the Odac and takes us back to the dance, the people that are in this chat and the people on campus are not going to forget about you. So that's the pitch. You come here and you build a winner. Don't just take the status quo and continue what's already been there. You come here and you build it. And it's arguably the best Division III conference in the country. Everybody's got, it's great basketball, it's great academics, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I'm thrilled to build something here.
Well said. I have one last question for all of you. So this will just be a quick lightning round question where you all give your answer pretty quick. Sorry to catch you off guard. Panelists who are watching, I didn't tell them I was going to do this, so they're probably shaking in their boots right now. But so a question that I think is just really great to encapsulate your experience at BC and everything that you loved about it, and just kind of give some insight to our viewers about your experience, is to summarize BC basketball in one word of what it means to you or how you remember it, or what is the one characteristic that stands out to you when you think about the program. And you all can go in any order once you think of it and are ready.
I'll go. Home.
I would say opportunity. And the reason I say opportunity is, one, got hired here as a head coach at age 29, something I'm super grateful for. So it was my first opportunity to be a head coach, and I hope I'm here for a long time. And 2, I think opportunity to get this thing back to where it was when Coach Leatherman was putting water on the sidelines and pointing at referees. So that's our goal. I think opportunity. We've got a great opportunity to do something special here.
I'd say family, just because it just feels that way coming back after being gone for about, I don't know, 7, 8 years. And what we're trying to build now with all the engagement we've secured here in the last year or so.
I would say family, using the word family, or I might use the word fun. You guys are going to love the book. It's going to bring back memories to you. You're going to laugh at every page. People outside the team environment who read it are going to be astonished at how crazy some of you guys were. And a lot of it was plausible deniability. I didn't know about it and didn't want to know about it, you know, but maybe I did too. So Bridgewater basketball was fun for me.
Great answer, Coach. So
Thank you all so much. Oh, sorry.
That's it. Sorry, we're going to wrap up, Maria.
Yes, I was going to say thank you all so much for those answers. And I was just going to introduce, or not introduce, but have Steve kind of wrap us up, and then I'll do our ending outro.
Thank you guys for doing this. I think this was great. You know, I sort of structured this more like a Division I radio show with guests and Q&A and having a little fun with it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the format. I'd love to hear your feedback. And beyond that, this is something that I'd like to do going forward, you know, every couple months. So I think we can do one on October 15th, you know, to kick off every season. We can do one mid-season. We can do one, you know, following the season. We can do one in the summer and talk about recruiting. So just be on the lookout for that. You know, maybe it's something we do quarterly. And I would like to say thank you for all of our guests in terms of panelists. Clay, Hatch, and Bill, and the players were awesome. And I really enjoyed doing this. And please, with our fundraising initiatives, hit me up anytime. You know, want to have as many guys as connected. I want to have as many guys connected to the program as humanly possible. So hit me up. I'm always available. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you all so much for watching, and I want to do a special thank you, of course, to Coach Enright, Coach Michael, Coach Hatcher, and especially Coach Leatherman for joining us today. We appreciate you all watching and connecting with us virtually while we can't in person, and even after then still, you know, creating that digital engagement. Just to recap, you can rewatch this recording on our Bridgewater College Alumni Relations YouTube channel. So that'll be posted as it uploads in the next 24 hours. It also is streaming live on Facebook. So Bridgewater College Alumni Relations Facebook page. And if you want to see even more of what we've been doing, you can check out bridgewateralumni.com and click on our virtual events and video series page, and you'll see categorized all the digital content that we're putting out there to try to stay connected during this time. So thank you all so much for watching, staying in touch, and go Eagles.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Wishing you guys the best.
Thanks, Coach.